Hello, my name's Cody Thomas, and I'm here to propose to you a plan to help your business with relationship management. It deals with personal management and dealing with the people in general and the relationships within the business and the workplace. So, first of all, it really focuses on turnover rate. Turnover rate is a big problem in many retail businesses, and that's what really this is focusing on, as well as retail businesses, specifically fast food, I would say. So, turnover rate can be caused by many different things. One of the things that, or most of the things, really deal with relationships within the business, whether the employee's relationship with the owner or employee's relationship with another employee, or maybe they're just getting bored and they don't really think that they're being challenged enough or motivated enough. And also another reason is just lack of importance. They don't feel like they're at a very high place in the company, or they don't feel like they're doing much for the company because there might not be enough feedback from the upper management and other sorts of things like that, to where people in the business lack motivation and lack the initiative to work and maybe lose a lot of the loyalty for the company as a result of that. So my proposal is to go ahead and offer up a care group solution. This care group solution would be composed of 5 to 10 people in each group, and they would be assigned to management. It would depend on how many managers were within the company, the retail company, and with how many employees would be under each manager. But essentially what would happen is these people would meet up in small meetings, maybe a half hour long, 45 minutes tops, just to explain certain things that they're doing, whether it's kind of just an evaluation, really. But what it is it not only wants to focus on the aspects of work, but it wants people and employees to be able to vent or express feelings, not only work related things, but also just outside things that may be bugging them, that may be affecting them at work, that something that may be upsetting them, and anything that really deals with the combination of outside relations and work relations. So what this is focusing on is not only, like, for example, some of the things I brought up earlier about people getting bored or not challenged, or people not feeling like they're important, or not having a good relationship with their boss. All these things could just be fixed immediately with this sort of care group solution. Not only are you receiving employees immediately and bringing them into this relationship business where people are getting to know them immediately. You could get to know a person within the probation period and get to know whether or not they're going to be able to fit in with your company or not, or if they're going to fit in with the environment or not. You don't want a poor environment within your company and then cause that to spread throughout the company and have a huge mindset of where, oh, I'm in a bad environment in this company, I want to leave, or I don't like where this is going, I want to leave. You want people to be excited about working. You want people to be focused on, wow, I had a really good meeting with my manager the other day, I really felt like I was really wanted, or blah, blah, blah. Or if someone who's feeling bored, they could go in, they could say, well, I feel like this is being really repetitive. I don't really understand why, but I just feel like I'm not challenged enough. Then, with that, the manager can be like, well, how about you try this, or how about you try that? Can propose another suggestion in order to get them on their toes and get them motivated for something different. So that's really what I'm maintaining focus on. The budget for this would be pretty low cost. It would be minimal, I would say, compared to other things that you could propose. First of all, you're only really you might pay a manager maybe 2 hours of overtime a week, depending on how long they're scheduled. If they're scheduled longer than 10-hour days, they're already receiving overtime. But if you schedule them 8.5-hour shifts with a 30-minute paid or unpaid break, then you're not giving up any time. If you schedule them 8 hours to work on their shift and a half hour to meet with their care group, then, or with a person from their care group, if they have 5 people and they work 5 days a week, then they're not receiving any overtime. So something like that could be a proposition, but there are many different ways you could go about labor. But I feel like you could prevent a lot of overtime by just doing small changes to labor and small adjustments here and there. And obviously it depends on how big your company is and how many employees you have, whether or not this will work out more beneficial by expanding it and maybe making 2-week sessions instead of every week or whatever, but you can kind of use it to your own capacity of what works well for you. And so that's the budget aspect of it. Another thing that may be a budget aspect is a mediator. A mediator would be needed in order to help not only start but maintain care groups within the business, because a lot of people don't know necessarily how to maintain a care group, and a mediator, which I'll get to later on, will be able to provide for you, will not only be able to train your managers on how to manage a care group, but also how to teach you how to, maintain your manager's focus, because you are ultimately the ultimate head, and your care group is your managers, and your managers have separate care groups, and it kind of trickles down. But what the main focus is, that the relationships within the whole company, from the operator or the business owner all the way to employee, is interconnected, so everyone feels like they're included. So my last point is whether or not if you do decide to say yes to my request, then we will be able to provide a mediator right off the spot at a very low cost in order to get this all started for you. And they'll be able to put out a huge plan. They'll be able to work with you on labor and what exactly needs to be done with that. Depending on your situation, we'll be able to go through all that and try to minimize the costs completely for you and be able to get this started in your company and hopefully lower the turnover rate, because the high turnover rate can really cause a problem, especially in a retail business where we're always busy, because if you're always busy and then you have to use this time to train, then it takes away what you could already have a trained employee who's already great and set, and you're using precious labor hours for training when you could be just, use the hours that you can now in order to train correctly and train right and get a good environment in your business and save money later. So that's really what you're trading on here. So I hope you enjoyed my presentation. I hope you take my proposal into your thought, and thank you for your time. Turned off, but it wants to work.
The camera's still on, yeah.
Okay.
So I can see the little green dot at the top. So,
Sweet.
yeah.